everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kingdom Konvoz. I'm Dr. Shirley.
And I'm Leandra Williams, and we are your hosts of Kingdom Konvoz. We are so happy to be here as usual. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week, Wednesday after Wednesday.
11 after 11.
We love this space. It's our safe space. We have very fruitful conversations that are Christ-led and we are spirit-led, and we are just so grateful for this form that we have, right? Because it's just like the things we're bringing to the table. I don't know, everybody probably has most of these conversations twittering and tweeting and Facebooking and whatever it is. They're not able to have like
Twittering and tweeting.
Hot to hot Twitter. What?
Twitter is the platform, and when you message, it's tweeting.
Well, I don't have Twitter. Okay. And I don't have any of that. So whatever you're doing, it's like behind the screen. We're behind a screen and we're texting or we're leaving a comment. So today's topic is touchy. Okay. I know it's a controversial one.
Is it though?
Girl, don't act like you don't see those headlines. Like, I know that this is a touchy conversation. We're going to talk about politics.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're going to touch on politics and not getting deep into who is voting for who, but we're focusing on
I'm voting for Jesus Christ. I'm voting.
What did you say?
I'm voting for Jesus Christ. Have you heard of him?
Steal my line.
Have you heard of him? Just write him in on the ballot. Like
Shirley, I'm not joking. I have probably said that at least, I want to say for at least the last 8 years. And I've had, when I first started saying it, people laughed at me and they were like, okay, no, really. And I'm like, no, really, I'm being serious. And to me, what that means, I'm just like, I pray, I make sure I do my job as a civilian. I make sure I do my part in this world. Yeah. That's all I can do, right? We want to be the change we want to see in this world.
Correct.
So I feel like if I do my part and if I, as far as who is in office, it's just, there's so much diversity within the people of our country, in our world. It's not just our country. So let me not just sit here and say it's our country, because it's not. I think there's a lot going on. I think there's a lot of misinformation. I think people are not really diving into what's going on. They're just taking the headlines and they just run with it. They're watching the memes. They're watching the short videos, and they're taking what could have been an hour-long conversation to this person took one little thing out of context, and that's what they're sharing. And then you're calling that your
news,
reliable source.
These are facts. Right?
This is a reliable source, and that's it.
Listen, I remember when, I think it was the 2020, it had to have been, because this is 2024, the 2020 election. Like, I would hear people, because I'm from Massachusetts, so Senator Elizabeth Warren was running, like, and her resume is, pretty much impeccable, right? Like, she's been in office. She teaches at, a Harvard professor. Like, she's so smart. Yeah. And I just remember hearing people like, just don't like the way she looks. I don't like her personality. And I'm like, that's it? That's where we're basing the free world on? Like, these are the facts that you're operating off of. I'm gonna need more than just looks.
So vain.
I'm gonna need more than just looks. It's a personality contest. It's a perspective contest, right? Perspective. What is shown versus what actually is, right? And yes, that's how we operate, and that's how we vote. Some people, not generalizing. That's how some people operate.
I don't know. I definitely, what you're saying right now is why I have certain views the way I have, because it's what you're shown and then what's really going on. But
Mm-hmm.
when somebody is really showing themselves and showing their donkey in the back, and it's like, you're like, I don't like that. And I'm
I
like,
know. What's
I'm
that
like, well,
saying?
I
When
actually like
someone
this
shows you who they are,
transparency.
believe them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that part. But I was discussing with this with you earlier. I think personally, I'm I'm not speaking for everyone. I feel that there is a percentage of people that decide to run for office because they truly believe they want to make a difference. They want to help people. It's not about power, it's not about greed, it's not about headlines. They genuinely see a need and they feel they have a solution to it. So right, they win. They raise the funds, right? Like in this country, in order to run for president, you got to raise almost $1 billion. Like Hillary, um Donald, and Joe. Like I got these people on my phone calling them by first name.
She's
But
like,
they
Hillary,
all
Donald, and Joe, you're up
Joe,
next. Come on,
Joe,
baby.
what's
Let's
up?
go.
They all raised over $900 million. Like, do you know how many small countries we can help? But they raised $900 million each, and that's why they won the presidency. We would love to say, oh, it's their background and their resume and their credentials and all the things that they've accomplished. No, it's a popularity contest, you know? So forgive me, y'all. I didn't put on my do not disturb. We're having
I
important
think,
conversations here.
yeah, we're definitely talking about real stuff. But they might be texting, right? Imagine we were live and they're like, don't forget about this.
This
Back
is why
in
I'm voting for this person.
1977. And it's like, can
Listen.
we, as much as history is so important. I think it's so important to understand where we've talked about this just in conversation, nothing
Mhm.
to do with politics.
Correct.
What is the root cause? Where is this stemming from? Where is this coming from? How do we fix that? And it's not that I don't believe people don't have good intentions when they get in office. I do believe that sometimes there's a power trip, but for the most
Yeah.
part, I do truly believe for you to want to be the president. I mean, there are two jobs I'm never applying for. I'm not applying to be the president, and I do not want to be God. Just think about
Ooh,
what goes
yeah.
on in their brain all day long. It's like, and to show up to that and how much you age in those seats. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Hmm.
And I don't care how perfect and well you do that job, there's always a percentage of the people that are not happy. They're not
Hmm.
satisfied.
You can't
They
please
feel like you
everyone.
could have done better.
Yes, you cannot please everyone, number one. Number two, like as we get older, we realize, like, I mean, I remember being young, learning about the electoral college, right? So I'm like, well, why do we vote then? But you understand as you get older, like, oh, the president operates federally. The president has to operate on the agenda of everyone. And then each individual state has their own head, their
Right.
governor,
Right.
and then that's just the governor of the state, not the 50 different cities and counties within that state. So that we go down to local elected officials, right? Your mayor, your city councilors, your senators and congressmen, like all these people operate at the different districts. So it's like, okay, well, listen, mayor, I know where you live. I'm gonna show up because I've got a problem. All
You're
right.
just knocking right at the door.
We
He's
got to
in your
start
neck
at
of
the
the woods.
local level. We
You
got to
are
start at the
local.
local level because you are where I live, right? Like we live in Florida. Massachusetts definitely does not operate the way Florida
Can I
does.
just say I love living in Florida? Like I'm just gonna have to put that out there. That's as far as I'm gonna go. But I love living in Florida, and I think we talked about 2020. if you didn't know that there was different regulations and that there were different people in charge, 2020 was your year that you quickly learned how come
Literally.
they're doing this over there and they're not doing this. There are different regulations, and if you did not know that, 2020 was your wake up
Listen,
call. And I
I
don't
was
know, everybody
so
was coming here
Mhm.
last I checked, but
Yes, it's true. Oh my gosh, the traffic is crazy. More people are coming. Um, probably people from Massachusetts as well. But when I was in Massachusetts, like I ran for city councilor at large. I was very heavily involved in the community and politics. And when I moved down here to Florida, I just had a different perspective, I guess, right post pandemic, that I was like, man, I just want to enjoy myself. I just want to live life. And people are telling me from Massachusetts, oh my gosh, I could never be in the state with your governor. Listen, I am led by God, period. I don't care what the governor is doing. Well, I do care, obviously, because there are other people who are affected, but it just didn't stop me from moving down here. Like, my life is governed by God. Period. It does not matter what the governor, what the president is doing. My life is governed by God. This may be the rule, this may be the law, but God done made everything, okay? He controls my life. So it didn't matter who our current governor was in Florida. I was just living my best life. But yes, I was heavily involved, and that's because my second mantra is in life is when you're mad about something, do something. You
right.
don't get to just complain and whine why this and this is happening. Well, then I'm going to need you to run for office. Or I'm going to need you to support someone who has similar ideas and similar agendas as you. Like, I'll watch people, we'll watch the debates, and then I see like CNN giving their updates, or another, people tweeting
The
and
tweeting,
twittering
the
all
twittering
over,
out
giving their
there.
comments. And I'm just like, oh, really? You have an opinion? Well, I'd like you to travel the country and run for office and get on stage in front of 1 billion people and let me see how you debate. Thank you. Like, I don't pass judgment. I don't have time to pass judgment. That has got to be the hardest thing to do. I'm not going to sit here and pass judgment, but I am going to do my due diligence and learn about the different policies, learn about everyone's agenda who I am voting for in my, state, um, region, federal. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to vote. And I'm going to be led by the Holy Spirit, because the Bible says God appoints leaders. God appoints the leaders. So he puts these people in position of power. Not everybody follows God. They start off right. And then, like you said, power trip. Ooh, people are worshiping me. People are doing
I
what I
definitely think
say.
that we should be
Mm.
speaking about God more.
Yeah.
Even when our leaders are speaking, I think they should be speaking about God more.
Yes.
I don't see that enough. I know they're
They
not
used to
pastors.
back in the day.
They used, well, everything was in God we trust. Everything was
Prayer was a
surrounded
school.
around
Yeah.
patriotism and things like that, where I feel like it's still there, but it's
Hmm.
almost like we have taken it for granted in
Hmm.
so many different ways. And it's a cultural thing, and people are, a little bit more wanting to be sugarcoated a lot more. And it's like we have to face some kind of reality. And
Hmm.
I think what I dislike the most about politics, and I would always go to my grandmother 8 years, 8, 9, well, we'll say now probably 10 years, when I really started actually paying attention, was when Obama ran for office.
Hmm.
And all of my friends were in college at that time, and I was working.
Hmm.
I had my son. I was working multiple jobs, and that was my life. And I remember everybody, all my friends, it was like, girl, you need to go vote for Obama. He's the first black president. What does that even think about?
That's it.
And
I
I
don't
was
care
just
his
like,
degree or credentials. I don't care. He black and he black.
we've talked about
Barack.
this before. It's always been on, I've always thought like this. So I was like, I'm not voting for him because he's black. That's not why I'm going to vote. So I was like, this is when I'm going to start actually paying attention, tuning in, doing research. And it has evolved from that point, but I'm not going to say I got too far. But anyways, I always asked my grandmother, like, who are you voting for? And she would never ever talk about it. And I still right now, as we are in this the election year, I wish I could phone up to heaven really quick, like, Grandma, please tell me your thoughts. Can you please tell me your thoughts? Because she was so level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
And I need that. And when anybody is voting, I feel there's a lot of, and I know everybody's passionate, but there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion, and it's not like about the bigger picture. And then that comes into everybody just feeling some certain type of way. Our opinions are so split. They're so different. Shirley, we should have one of each, maybe not one president. Let's put both of them in the same room. And you both got to figure it out. You both got to figure it out. When we were younger and we were arguing with our sister and we were so opposite, it was like both of you go sit in the room and stare at each other. And you sit there and you don't come out until you figure it out. And it's like, I'm watching this and it's almost entertainment. And it shouldn't be that way.
True.
We really should all have collectively come to some point. We've had this country established now for
so long.
For years.
Yeah.
I think we should know what's good for the people.
Listen, I'm not I'm not too happy either the way things are going, and I think that's why I'm surrendering to God more than ever, right? Listen, we saw leaders and, so-called presidents or pharaohs in the Bible, right? Like, people fall. People make mistakes. This is a giant mistake, right? You've got what, how many people are in this country? I think like almost like 500 million. Like last time I checked, it was like 300 something million in this country or whatever. So I'm sure we're at 500 million at this point. But, you have so much at stake, but we are human. You and I, Miss Leandra, you and I are human.
333.3 million. That was as of 2022.
Okay. All right. Then we're not at 500 million yet. Okay. Still in that 300 marks. Okay.
345 as of 2024. Yeah.
But, people make mistakes. I just remember when it came time around the Biden and Trump election that, like we saw Stacey Abrams.
The first one or the second one?
Right, first one.
Okay.
First one. Well, he ain't in the second one now. Well, Biden done tapped out. Miss Kamala is in the seat now. But yes, the first election, and when Stacey Abrams just, oh my gosh, like revolutionized voting in this country, especially in the state of Georgia. I just remember, I don't know if it was her who directly said it or someone from her team, or I just remember hearing someone say like, okay, Biden, we got you in office. We're going to hold you accountable. You don't do what you're promising to do now, we're coming for your seat. And I was like, boom, that's it. Because you do have the power. Yes, we have the Electoral College, but the Electoral College votes on public opinion, the majority of votes that come into that state. So your vote does matter. And I know, like, saying your vote does matter. Women never used to vote. People of color, Black people did not used to vote. That's not a good enough reason to vote. But with what is going on in this world, right? I remember someone said it so clear that it knocked me off my seat. Just because you don't like who is in office doesn't mean that you should want them to fail. Do you want the pilot who's piloting your airplane to fail?
Yeah.
Hello. Ask yourself
And you're
this.
talking about when Trump won the first go around and
Yes.
everybody was upset. Yeah.
Everyone was upset,
Yeah.
brokenhearted. But listen, you do not want your pilot to fail. Therefore, you do not want your president to fail. So you voted one way. The person that you voted for did not get into office. God appoints leaders. He appoints leaders for a reason. And just because you don't see that leader as fit doesn't mean you just toss up your hands and that's it. You better pray for your leader. You better fast and pray and hope to God that he submits and surrenders to the reverence and fear of God so that he can do the work that needs to be done to help the people of this nation and all
Mm-hmm.
nations across the world. You do not want your president to fail because then you fail.
That's right.
He's going to be safe. He's got CIA back pocket, um, Secret Service. I was like special service, Secret Service. He's protected. It's
Yeah.
you, the lower class, the middle class, the upper class. It is you that is affected. I'm gonna need you to pray, even when you vote. I highly encourage you to vote. Look at the platforms. Look at what people are running on. Hey, listen. If they are 90% kingdom agenda, awesome. Let's go vote for that person. And while you're voting, one, pray before you vote so that you are spirit led and you will find the peace. Oh my gosh, the last time I voted, I was really torn. I'm like, kingdom and this person. I'm like, where do I go? Man, the moment I got to, I think it was I don't know, church building, wherever I was registered to vote, the moment I got to it, I just felt peace. I felt peace with it. And that person did win. So I was like, all right, I was aligned with kingdom because God appoints leaders. I was aligned with the kingdom, and that's the person who won. Their agenda may not be lined up with the kingdom, but guess what? Not all of us operate on kingdom. We are still flesh. We are still human. We sin. We make mistakes. It's up to us to surrender to God so that he can quicken us. He can convict us to start doing the right things. We are not perfect. We are not always doing kingdom things on this planet. We're not.
We do
But
have an individual duty though. Like even
mm-hmm,
on top of the praying, even on top of the homework, even on top of all that, just being a person in this world created by God, put here on this earth, we have an individual duty to just be decent, loving, caring, love thy neighbor human beings.
and
So
helping
huh?
and helping,
It's
right?
all
Don't
of
just
that.
sit back.
Like no, you need to
Do your
contribute
part.
in ways like Shirley has talked about just in maybe other another podcast, volunteering or stepping up or giving, when you are down, you've had people help you up. You need to
Yes.
be that person now. You need to pay that forward. You have to
Yes.
also
Pay
speak up
forward.
if that person you see doesn't have a voice and you have a little bit more of a backbone. You need to speak up. You need to speak for others, advocate for others. You need to be present. God has put us here.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not the root of all evil. That is such like all of that has
Mm-hmm.
to be,
Yeah.
taken away. You all
Correct.
need to find your own success. We all need to work for our own, along with helping other people's in it. Helping other people in their situations as well, because we're blessed, right? I believe we're all highly favored and blessed, and we have to kind of pass that torch on
Yes.
over to the next person. So it's not always, the having the right person in office. I don't know if everybody will ever agree and say, whoo, we got a good one this time. All right. I just feel like it's always split. It's always
Yeah.
been split to me.
And they're
And that
taking
to
over the
me,
last person's
it's,
work. Like,
it's,
I remember
it's the
people hated
chaos.
Obama. I was like, y'all forget Bush was in office for 8 years. You can't have, like, literally the United States of America, right? Company, United States of America company. When a CEO comes in, which was Obama, you can't have them just be perfect day one. They have to undo and fix the last CEO, which was Bush for 8 years, the Iraq war. Okay, we gotta fix that, get to, right? We were like negative whatever deficit. Now we got to get to even and then climb for there. Like people forget these things. I'm like, listen, just like you said, right? I would never want to be president and I would never want to be
I would
God.
never want to be president and I would never want to be God. I know that, you're talking of just in general, like who's in office for majority of the years, because you always see that it's like Trump was in, then Trump said he was fixing who was in before him. And then Biden gets in. Now Biden says he's fixing what was left by Trump. And I think if everybody does their homework, you'll see who has actually been in office the majority of the last, let's just say 15 years. And why don't you just go from there? Do your homework. I won't even say, why don't you just go from there? But anyway, I definitely think that it still goes back and forth. People are misled. I'm going to stick with that. People are not doing their homework. And there's a lot of chaos and confusion and a lot of noise. And I think everybody's just trying to prove their point and kind of trying to maybe dumb down the other party or act like this party is better than the other when we're all really just we're one country.
Listen, we
are one country.
The parties be dividing us, and I'm like, y'all forgot humanity. Like y'all really, really forgot humanity. You know what I'm saying?
It's scary, Shirley. That part is really scary.
I don't like the division.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to cut you off for life because you voted for this person or because you're in this party. Like, listen.
We can't do that.
We can't do that. We can't do that. Use wisdom. Go to God. Pray. Because this country needs prayer. Honestly, if you're an atheist, come on. You see the country. It needs prayer. Like, I'm going to need you to talk to somebody. We need help. We need help. Severe help. But, we just
with us. Yes. It starts with us. Let's
help.
Please.
Help
okay?
At the smallest level. You don't want to run for office. Just help. Help your people. Go to a food pantry. Do something. Let's just start somewhere. But we did want to talk about this because the election is coming up. We want everyone, at least I do. I want everybody to do their civic engagement. Leandra said no one's doing their homework. Go do your homework. Get involved. Just in your community. It doesn't have to be necessarily for a party, right? Like just get involved. There's plenty of ways to engage in your civic duty to your city, state, country. There's so much you can do, but the elections are coming up. So if you're torn, just pray, and whoever gets elected, pray for them again, because you will be affected by the decisions that other people are making for you. If you're not making a decision to go and vote, someone else is making the decision for you. So please pray for that individual in that seat, that they surrender to God and they are led by God. Amen. Because this country, this world needs God. Jesus Christ.
Amen.
All right. Well, we did okay.
That wasn't so hard, was it? I know. We were going back and forth like.
We appreciate you for tuning in. We love you. We thank you for your support. Please continue to like, subscribe, comment. We'd like to know your thoughts, okay?
Yeah, drop a comment on this one. And I don't want to hear any of this tweeting stuff on our thread here. You're going to be the change you want to see in this world. Be positive, okay? Leave positive things. Your words are powerful. Your words are powerful. Use them correctly, please.
That's a great way to end it. Be the change that you want to see, okay?
Amen.
Have a wonderful day. Have a fantastic week. God bless you. See you soon.
Thank you all so much. Bye.